Seattle, is it worth it? As a former Seattle resident, I've always wanted to move back to my old home. However, as I've grown older, I've had to become more realistic. I've had to consider whether I can support myself living in this city. While doing my research and finding out if I can make it, I considered three factors to be the most important. On the surface, Seattle is very appealing. It has many attractions like the Space Needle, Pike Place Market, and Puget Sound. However, as I did my research and dived deeper, I found that there was a lot of things about Seattle that would make it hard to live in and not as appealing as it may seem. But I did even more research and I found that it is still a very appealing place to live. So there's three levels of research that I did. The surface and yeah. So the first factor I considered was the weather. Now on the surface you're just like, yeah, it's probably just like any other place. But then you start doing your research and you find out that Seattle is almost always consistently raining. It's always cloudy. This can cause like depression. I know that women, for some reason, were suffering from vitamin D. They were like lacking vitamin D, so they had to take pills, and men didn't for some reason. And this can be a turn away for most people if they're considering to live in Seattle. But as I dove even deeper, I found out that because of this kind of dreary weather, it has led to a beautiful ecosystem. It's green everywhere in Seattle. I had a forest in my backyard when I lived there. There was trees everywhere. My middle school was like almost all outside, like just out in the trees. It was very nice. So that should not be a determining factor on whether or not you should live in Seattle or not. The other factor I considered was the crime rate. Now, I never thought about this before. I never noticed this while I lived there, but Seattle was ranked number 3 in the crime index, and that means that it's only safer than 3% of the cities in the U.S. That's pretty bad. Seattle is actually a pretty dangerous place. You have a chance of 1 in 16 of being a victim of a crime. So that was the second level, right? I started doing my research and I found out more about the crime rates. And then I did even more research. And I found out that it's easy to avoid. Thanks to the Neighborhood Scout, I found a map of the most dangerous and the most safe places in downtown, with dark blue being the most dangerous and light blue being the safest. It is easy to avoid the dangerous parts, and like if you were to want to move there with your family or you just wanted to feel safe, it's easy to feel safe in the residential areas. The last factor I considered while doing my research on Seattle was housing prices, because this is probably the biggest factor in whether or not you would live there. Unfortunately, Seattle has a large inflation rate, so housing prices are really high. It's one of the most expensive cities to live in the U.S. So I started considering alternatives, and some of the alternatives were Everett, Gig Harbor, Tacoma, Olympia, and Bothell. These were all places that were within like 30 to an hour drive from the downtown city, especially. That is convenient. That is very ideal if you were to have a job downtown. It's not a long drive. If you wanted to move to Seattle for the Puget Sound, you can move to Gig Harbor, showing this picture. It's still on the bay side. It's very nice. It's very beautiful. I've been there. I've been to all these places. I love them all. I've been to Tacoma. It's shown the Tacoma Dome. It's this very big dome. It's very cool. I've been to like monster truck rallies. I've been to football, like college football games in there. It's a very nice alternative to Seattle. So after all this research, again, the surface, really ideal place to live, really appealing. You do your research, it's not so appealing anymore. And then you dive in even deeper, and it is still worth it. Thank you.